I don't want to sound like a negative Nelly, but oh my God, Alster,
What?
this whole time, I haven't been using my mic. Do you ever sometimes get that feeling of deja vu where you've done something and you feel like you've been there before? Was it a dream?
You could do so. You want.
Was it real life? I don't know, Alster. I just feel like we've been in this position before. We've recorded this episode before. We've spoken these words before. Can you tell us a little bit about what went horribly wrong just a mere 2 days ago?
Yeah, same, but different. A little bit of the uncanny valley going on here. I mean, Simon, talk about like professionalism. I was singing your praises. It was like what, a Wednesday, Thursday afternoon.
Yep.
Podcast. We'd scheduled the podcast. We knew it was happening that afternoon. You thought, I'll duck in for a quick nap so I can be at my sharpest for the podcast. 15, 20 minutes. Nothing can go wrong. An hour and a half later, you awaken from a slumber, and we talked about it, at the time, but when you go to sleep for a 15, 20-minute nap and you fall asleep for an hour and a half, you basically are a dead human being when you wake up. Like, everything's upside down. You feel like shit. You don't know what year it is. But I thought, God, he looks pretty sharp. Like he's on the ball here. He looks okay. He doesn't have bleary eyes. He's throwing out anecdotes left, right, and center. I was like, Simon is on today, and I was praising you for that.
A few days earlier,
You've just woken up for an hour-long nap. You're a little bit sleepy boy. But you could not tell from looking at you. You look pristine.
Cut to an hour later. We discussed all manner of topics, big topics of life. Sorare, we'd solved a few of the world's problems. I think we may have solved the Israel-Palestine feud once and for all. And then we get right to the end of the podcast. I think you said something about like, maybe this hasn't been one of our best. And I was like, no, I think we nailed it this time. And then sure enough, you realized right at the end of the pod that your microphone was on the other side of the room, not being utilized whatsoever.
And neither of us picked up on the fact that I was just speaking into nothing. Like I was just...
Yeah. I was like,
I remember
all of you for a change.
Yeah. I literally said our production quality had gone downhill because we'd had some issues. I think you'd been a dark boy, then you became a shiny boy.
Right. It was a sunset pod, and we've had a few sunset pods, and it's a nightmare from a lighting point of view because you're rapidly losing light. You're trying to deal with the adjusting of the. I think I was looking like I basically just looked like a wax model. I was slippery with sweat. It was disgusting. Yeah, and you were commenting on our production levels going down, and I was, as always, first to step in and defend the pod. And sure enough, one scrapped podcast later, here we are.
Yeah, it's good to know after 3 seasons we're still just as unprofessional and unorganized and utterly hopeless as ever before.
No. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
Speaking of sunsets, this is a random little fun fact I want to throw in there, but I witnessed something the other day, and I feel like it needs to be shared. It's not football related, but it needs to be shared with the broader public. At a sunset, at a nice location, people started clapping.
Oh, okay.
Now, I'm not okay with that.
No. Was this just out in public?
Yeah, like at St Kilda, the beach.
Ooh, okay. Because I've experienced a cheered sunset before, and it was actually quite great. But I will set the scene for that in that there's a festival near you, near your neck of the woods, called Meredith Music Festival. Now, for anyone who hasn't been there or is Australian who has ever heard of it, it's the quintessential Australian festival. It's 3 days, BYOB, bring your own booze. People bring they've got like a natural amphitheater. It's on a farm. They bring some pretty great bands and DJs and stuff from around the world. People bring couches. They set them up on the hill. Like, it's a real DIY Aussie festival. It's great fun. And they have a bit of a tradition every year where during the golden hour, the sun's starting to set. Everyone's fucked up on all manner of, ingestibles. And
Extracurriculars.
everyone just loses their shit when the sun goes down. But it kind of it has a bit more of a wholesome vibe to it because everyone's on the same level. We're kind of like, we're giving the sun like, come on, mate, let's go.
You can do it!
Whereas it sounds like in your situation, it's a bit more of like a clapping a takeoff, clapping a landing kind of vibe. Which,
Yeah.
not cool behavior.
No, and then I was telling this story and someone, I think, trumped it. Obviously, the people clapping the flight, not great. Clapping after a movie finished, and someone was telling me that they were in a cinema and people started clapping, but the movie was Mamma Mia 2.
Oh, well, I mean, standing
just makes
ovation for Mamma Mia 2.
Which just makes it even better of all the movies to like applaud. The Mamma Mia 2 was the
Yeah. Clapping. Yeah, clapping's no good. I think we could.
Yeah.
Is there ever a good moment to clap? No, not really.
Well, I'm sorry to really derail the podcast within 1 minute of starting. No one asked for this clapping chat, but I'm bringing it. My mate just got back from Europe. He did the Hot Girl Europe Summer that I infamously did a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he booked his flights through an app, and for some reason, he got the cheapest connecting flight, and the connecting flight took him to Israel.
Nice.
And when he landed in Israel, everyone clapped. And I think that probably was appropriate time to clap the pilot because, the pilot's probably dodging through like missiles being sent at him. And so it's probably fair enough.
This was recently that they did a detour through Israel?
No, like two and a half weeks ago.
Whew. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
And the security guard was like, "What are you doing here? Like, you shouldn't
really?
be here."
Like it wasn't a planned detour.
Well, he got on the flight through the Qantas app, but then, understandably, like he was the only person that did the connecting flight through Israel because no one should or would want to go to Israel right now.
He was the only person. What do you mean he was the only person? There was just him on the flight? There was just one guy on the plane?
Well, I guess there might have been people going to Israel or I don't know. But as an Aussie tourist, he was definitely the only Aussie tourist.
He booked through some kind of like Hamas travel app.
Yeah, it's dodgy, but I think it sums up Australian travel. Anyway, random off topic start to the pod. It's good to be back. It's good to be back chatting after doing this 2 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, well, I think it was yeah, good job, us. Well done. Yeah, clapping's no good. Yeah, if you're out there and you're clapping, have a good hard think about yourself. Well, I mean, we discussed a few things. I think on Wednesday we were kind of freestyling a little bit more, but we did bring up a few good topics. We'll get to that. But like, Simon, tell me, how have you been? Tell me a little bit about your life. People want to know. People are messaging me all the time. What's Simon up to? How's his mustache? How does he? How does he get his
doing what the mustache do? Look, I'm doing well, mate. I'm fast and loose. I'm living off the cuff. Setting Sorare lineups 20 minutes before the deadline. Reeling in the ladies, the mustache doing its thing. Life is good. I have a home.
That's good. You have a home.
Which wasn't, I guarantee it, some points of the podcast.
Have you got any good, I have to kind of live vicariously through because, as everyone knows, I'm full dad life at the moment. I'm actually on baby watch right now. So at points during the pod, I may have to rescue a child. I think having a baby kind of is a bit of an anecdote killer, really. Like there's not a lot of stories going on outside of just baby stuff. And I mean, when you meet fellow dads in the wild, it's all, we don't shut up. It's just, talking about colic this and, nappy changing that and, diaper changing techniques. But for the real world, it kind of leaves me a bit bereft of interesting stories to tell. So I have to live a bit vicariously through you, Simon, as the party boy that you are. Have you got any good party stories for us? Have you got anything that, can you give us some hot, tasty beef goss from down south?
Well, I think it might have been a couple episodes ago we discussed my dating life, my love life, and the lack of it due to Sorare and the demands that it's put on me during my most fruitful potential childbearing years. But I must be said, Ulster, I've got back on the horse. As my interest in Sorare has waned, my interest with the ladies has picked up. Is that a word?
Dwayne.
It seems like you have a little problem understanding the English language.
I don't think so.
Is that not?
I think you've got dwindled and waned. You've got those two words.
Oh, definitely
combined, which I love. I love Dwayne. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? You've been Dwayne. I love it.
Oh, that's great. But I've been on the apps, Ulster, which is very unlike me. You know,
okay.
the
Diesel on the apps. Diesel 88.
Yeah, cooking up a storm.
Yeah.
Actually had a lovely lady over. Blessed me with her presence last night. But had to do the full Barney Stinson and about 7:30 this morning. Just kind of wanted her to leave, so just I've got to go to work. So it's a Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't have work.
Podcast to record.
I've actually got a Sorare podcast to record. Yeah, you're gonna have to leave.
Yeah. By the way, here's my referral code before you go. Buy any 5 cards on the market, and you get a market credit, £50. Not too bad. Not too bad. Oh well, I'm happy for you, Simon. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad someone's getting some.
But the problem is, Elster, is that I thought for a second maybe it's the mustache. Maybe the mustache is what's turned my fortunes around. And she's like, "Oh no, you look like a child molester." And I was like, "Oh, sick, great."
And yet she still went home with you. Says a lot about her
interesting
questionable morals. Yeah, I bet she claps sunsets too.
Yeah, I bet you. I got to ask, Elster, it's been staring at me. You have a medal around your neck.
Oh, this old thing? Solid gold, baby. Solid gold. Look, I
You're
just
Olympian.
I didn't even realize I had this on. Sorry. This is really embarrassing. That's just my Premier's medal. You're looking at a championship winning goalkeeper right here. Thank you very much. You can clap. That's the appropriate time to clap. Thank you, Simon. Thank you very much.
Yep.
No. Top the table. Finished the season on a high. Kept the errors, led to goal to a minimum, and here we are. So feels good, baby.
Respectfully, what quality is your league if you, who has never goal kept in his life, is the starting goalkeeper and you're top of the table? My God, what is the other teams doing?
Well, the other teams, sure, they might have, seeing difficulties and learning difficulties, and some of them are, barely out of wheelchairs. But hey, we no mercy, no malice, baby. Let's go. We're here to win. No, it's the.
That's how you got your 2 red cards the other day. You just came flying out and put a stick in someone's wheelchair wheel and just flipped them over.
Yeah, pushed a blind guy over. Football Queensland, South Coast, Gold Coast Premiers, Division 4 men. So make of that what you will. Division 4. Now that might sound like it's a low number. That might sound like we're way down in the doldrums, but that's actually out of 100 divisions. So pretty good, really. You don't want to see the
scenario
of Division
here,
98 boys.
Is this like a PSV League 1 situation where you're just dominating, and the reason why you can be in goals is because the ball never gets in your defensive half? Like, is your team just dominating constantly?
There's certainly games like that. And I wouldn't say it's totally a farmers league, but there are some definite farmers teams that we play against. There's a team that we play where I think they're about an hour and a half drive into the kind of the wilderness, like they're kind of like hill people, and so much so that their pitch is like on a severe angle like this. It's just this. There's a severe lean on the pitch. From one side to the other. And yeah, there's definitely some part-timers knocking around. We'll put it that way. Yeah,
Jeez,
I don't know.
I'd love to see the halftime scores. I feel like going uphill would be a tough slog. You'd really have them in the first half if you were running downhill.
I mean, yeah, look, running downhill, my touch is atrocious. It's just you take a touch and it goes 50 feet forward. It's not great.
True. That's fair.
Yeah,
Oh.
so we've got the
well
we've
done,
won the league,
congratulations.
and then we've got like the kind of cup playoffs. Basically, the top 4 teams then go and have like a knockout competition to win the cup. So we could, who knows? That next podcast we have, I might have 2 of these bad boys around my neck.
Well, infamously, else, do you have the Matthew Leckie signed Melbourne City shirt? Keep kicking goals, superstar, or whatever it said in the message. Do I now need to organise a Danny Vukovic signed Central Coast Mariners kit, but a
100%.
goalkeeper specific kit for you?
Yeah.
Keep blocking those shots, big boy, or something.
Yeah. Stop scoring goals. Yeah, absolutely. I'll never turn down a Danny Vukovic word of encouragement.
I guess this is a little exclusive one-on-one interview with a Div 4 premiership winning goalkeeper, but tell me, Alistair, was Danny Vukovic the reason why you found the love between the sticks? Did you just love stopping balls with your hands?
I do. I love with my face
handling
mostly.
balls.
Yeah. I just love men and balls in and around my face. No. Well, as people who have been following, keen listeners of the pod will know that I'm not normally a goalkeeper. I'm normally a Golden Boot winning, ram, bam, thank you, ma'am, striker, scoring goals left, right, and centre. Well, wouldn't say left, right, left and right mainly. And our goalkeeper went down with an Achilles injury. And I basically said, look, I play Sorare, so I know a thing or two about goalkeeping. I know a thing or two about clean sheets. I know about good high claims. I know about sweeper keepers. I know about diving saves. So I was like, well, I'm the natural choice. Like, I have experience. I know who Danny Vukovic is. You don't know who Danny Vukovic is. I know who most of the Bundesliga 2 goalkeepers are. So I think that qualifies me. And the team was like, yeah, that makes sense. So here I am.
Can I have a request that you put a GoPro on your head and be one of those guys that films their own games with like
Just
the
like a
GoPro,
360
with like the
camera.
weird, yeah.
Just me going, "Whoa."
Oh, brilliant!
Just me on the ground looking at the ball back in my own net. Fuck.
Alistair, I've got to bring something up, and I've been dying to bring it up with you. You might not be on the TikTok sphere. You might be a bit past that. But my TikTok lately has been filled with the There We Land kid, who famously is basically just stolen Fabrizio Romano's thunder, and is this like 8-year-old black kid who's now like the king of like transfer breaking stories, and he's beating Fabrizio to the break.
Really?
And he's taking over the world. Have you seen this kid?
No.
Oh, well.
What's his name? Let me look it up.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka to West Ham. There we land.
So it got me thinking, yeah, he's just absolutely taken a winning recipe and made his own. But it got me thinking, Alistair, I was wondering if we were to do our own, breaking segment, we need a good catchphrase, right? So he's obviously got the There We Land. I've seen some like, we're now circumcised, things like that. And I was thinking, like, what would your catchphrase be? I mean, I was thinking, butter my toast, the deal is done. Wax my mustache, the deal has gone through. Something along those lines, something really catchy. Shine those spoons, something that really gets the people going. Have you got any ideas for us of what your catchphrase would be?
Oh, a catchphrase. Squeeze me, Jesus. Squeeze me, Jesus.
That's not bad.
Actressor to PSV. It's happening.
Poach those pears. Portland have their man.
Willy Wonka's Donkey Bonkers. Transfer complete.
Bing bang boom. It's in the works.
Lesbians are back.
Sweet creepy uncles. He's returning home.
Grab yourself a biscuit and wake the captain. The deal has gone through.
Tickle my nan.
It's time to wank off the cat again.
Silver my spoons.
Shakira. The deal is done.
Done. it's done.
Butter my brisket and call me Papa.
Maybe we were the original There We Land kid. We had Moon or Dune before it was cool.
Yep, Moon or Dune. Yep, I mean that's a good. If ever there was a hot breaking transfer segment, Moon or Dune is it. Yeah, There We Land is pretty great. I mean, a good one for Sorare would just be, and it's gone. My clean sheet, it's gone. My ETH balance, it's gone. I just bought this new Super Rare, and he's broken his leg, and it's gone.
How are the Super Rares going for you, Alistair? I mean, you've been a blue boy for a while now. Are you still loving life over on the other side of the world?
Oh, good. I mean, 20 minutes in, talking about Sorare, I like it. Super Rares are going well. Now, we kind of touched a little bit on kind of strategy in the Lost Pod of Mystery. But I've been thinking about it ever since we kind of touched on it, and I think I'm right. I think Super Rares is where it's at. I think I am correct in spending all my money on Super Rares. I think I might be onto something. No, I think I mentioned during the week that my strategy of late has been to buy Super Rares. I know it's wrong. I know it's a sin. I know it's really ridiculous because I'm basically buying these unsellable assets that can be used to win terrible prizes, and everyone hates Super Rares, but as we know, Simon, zig when people zag, and I just get a lot of enjoyment out of buying Super Rares. I don't know what it is. I think maybe whether it's like the thrill of if they do hit, then potentially it is something that's super valuable. Obviously, most of the time they don't hit. And I think buying Super Rares takes me back to that time of Sorare where buying a rare, I think it's okay. It goes back to this conversation about new Sorare versus old Sorare and just how hard it is for people to win in Classic these days. Like, talk about this morning, you wake up on a Saturday morning, one of your players has hit a 43 and it's gone. Like, the game week's done. It's over. Squeeze, Jesus. It's over.
My Jesus. Yep.
And that sucks. Like, it's really hard as a Classic boy these days. Whereas there's people on the other side, the flip side of that coin, playing in season, who are just like, oh, I scored 312 points and I won $100. Like, it's the new Sorare really is kind of, it's Sorare is doing everything they can to move people into the new Sorare, and those dweebs who are left in the Classic realm are just left to struggle. And you basically need perfection if you want to have any joy, right? And that kind of sucks. Like, I'm sure you can relate to that. I'm sure everyone listening out there can relate to the fact that if you're a Classic boy and you're hoping to just sit on your laurels and, put a team out every week and win, it's getting harder and harder to do that. Super Rares is still somewhat in that realm of like, I can buy players that are okay at a decent budget, and I've still got I still feel like there's somewhat of a chance of winning something of a week. And I think that's kind of where my Sorare journey is at, is like, I'm putting money on the platform, little bits at a time, buying Super Rares of players I like, and I feel like I still have that hope. Whereas I feel like on the other side of it, it's like, unless you have the very best players, you do have no hope, unless you're a king of the dweebs like yourself.
King of the dweebs, yep. Well, I mean, just looking at what the platform's like now, you probably would have benefited from your old gallery where you had 15 different teams. You could be racking up essence every week. You could be getting boxes.
Possibly, but if I think back to that when I sold all my rares, I didn't actually have that, like the amount of rares I could have bought with what I sold those rares for. Yes. So like if I had sold, I sold my rares, whatever it was, for, I think it was like 9.5 ETH I got for all of my rares. So it was a pretty good windfall. I went then and blew it on a couple of super rares, like 7 super rares. But if I had just sat on that ETH, yeah, right now I could be a Pranksy. I could basically be Pranksy. 9 ETH, that's how much Pranksy's got in his bank, right? But I could buy a lot of players. I could buy a lot of teams. Yes, I probably could be harvesting essence, and that would be fun. But I didn't do that. I'm not going to hold on to 9 ETH for 2.5 years. That's just not who I am. But the cards that I had back then were Tendy boys. They were Challenger boys. I didn't have any champ guys. So I'd be in the situation that a lot of people are right now, which I'm like, right, Division 2 contender rare. If you want to get a reward, you better be hitting 480 points, you know? And to me, that's not that fun. Whereas with Super Rares, I feel like I'm always in with the sniff.
Yeah, but you're in that situation still where you've got your Super Rares split across different divisions. Like you've got your Heung-min Son. Have you sold him?
Yep, so I traded him for a bunch of in-season Premier League boys. So my strategy in a nutshell right now is I have pretty much entirely Challenger Super Rares. I have a couple of Tendy boys that I just can't sell. Like, that's just impossible to sell. But I'll chuck them in, you know, the midweeks. And then I traded my Heung-min Son for a bunch of in-season Prem cards to play the Prem in-season comp, which last week I rolled them out. They did okay. I scored like 340 points and won $200. So that just kind of like, in a nutshell, highlights kind of the importance of playing in-season these days. But
it's basically
then I've got a bunch of just random limiteds, which, you know, I just keep acquiring limiteds because they're like 68 cents. So, but we ignore the limited side of my gallery. Huh?
You've still got your Palmeiras stack. You're wearing the jersey.
Yeah, I have a Palmeiras.
Nice little number.
I have a Palmeiras stack, which has won me nothing amongst rotations and just they really haven't been the dominant team that I thought they were going to be. But a friend of mine here in the Gold Coast is a Brazilian Palmeiras diehard fan, and he actually bought me this jersey back from Brazil. So I've enjoyed that aspect of just having a team to like get to like learn about Palmeiras, follow the boys. They haven't really brought me any joy, but it's been fun. I think I'm just playing Sorare for vibes now, Simon. I think it's just vibes for me. I'm putting money in the platform.
If you were
I'm buying super rares that no one else wants. I'm just vibing.
If you took it seriously, you'd want to kill yourself because it's so depressing right now.
I think so. I think I'm like I've crossed over the threshold of like caring about ROI, and I'm just enjoying it. Like I've been regularly depositing money and just buying cards that I want just so I can play. And I think in Super Rare, I at least feel like I still have an opportunity to win something. A Tier 4 Super Rare gets me rock hard, Simon. But but maybe I'm in the minority there.
Yeah, I mean, technically I'm still playing on vibes, very carefree vibes. I haven't made any alterations to my gallery. I haven't, seen the changes that were required for me to make to be most efficient with my gallery. I've just continued to plow ahead with my old-fashioned ways. In my mind, I'm still playing Global All-Star in 2022. Like, I'm just head in the sand kind of operation, like just pretending like everything's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm the old man that still reads the newspaper and has a Nokia 3000. Like, I'm not changing with the times at all.
I love it. I mean, it's a tragedy, really, that you'll never be able to roll out Alisson, Trent, De Bruyne,
Klaus,
Rodri, and Klaus. That is a real tragedy that we'll never see that lineup again. That's a real shame. Well, yeah, I mean, it brings up a good point, Simon. I mean, I feel like I've found my way of kind of remaining engaged with Sorare, which is, you know, super rares that are super affordable now, and I enjoy playing that division because I'm in with a chance each week. So I've found kind of a way to enjoy Sorare amongst the kind of dwindling prices and, increased competitiveness and kind of more difficulty to win. What about you? Like you said, you got your newspaper out, you got your Nokia 3300. Do you feel like it's sustainable for you to remain engaged with Sorare, or do you kind of foresee that engagement kind of petering off over the next couple of months?
Yeah, you know what? Laugh all you want, because I'm done.
Look, mate, if they sent out a staff-wide engagement survey, I'd be the person bringing the percentage down. I'm not engaged. I'm not. I think you sent me a message the other day and you're like, hey, bro, like, you probably really need to, like, just buy one more limited so you can have a good limited team this week. Yeah, didn't do it. I mean, if you look at it on paper, like, I think Liverpool had a great matchup. City had Ipswich. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just roll out Calvert Lewin. Yeah, it's fine. Like, old Simon would be so frustrated. Like, the old Simon that lived and breathed Sorare, when Mauricio Pereira was a DNP after investing thousands of dollars onto the platform and it crushed his whole weekend. That Simon's dead and buried. Still got my limited boys. I guess, like, I think my avenue to stay engaged with the platform has to be limiteds. Like the rare boys, like, I don't want to sell them because I love my Japanese boys.
There's no point.
But yeah, they're not worth anything. But the limiteds, like, I may as well just, whatever money I have left on the platform, just buy more cards so I've got more options to put in each week, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's, and I mean, as much as I'm not a Sorare mole, I'm not Nicholas's little bitch boy telling everyone to spend money, but I think now is better time as any to treat Sorare. I think Sorare has shifted from a kind of platform, like an investment train, an NFT thing. I think it's just a hobby now. I think it might have just officially become a hobby. And, like with any hobby, you put a little bit of money in every now and then, you buy a new golf club, you pay your racket fees at the local tennis club. I think with Sorare now, like, you can put $50 in of a week and go and buy some pretty good, like, players that will actually help you compete in the limited sphere. And you can play Sorare as I think Sorare have kind of been pushing people to play it, which is as like a fun weekly fantasy thing. And I think that's kind of where both of us are at, is just at differing levels. I'm putting my fun money towards super rares. You could be putting fun money towards buying, like, more Premier League players or whoever it is that you want to follow.
But the problem is, though, Alistair, is that even if I buy more Premier League players and run out a lineup with Alisson, Trent, De Bruyne, Rodri, and Haaland, 5 of the best players in the world, I'm probably not going to win because I'm playing Classic and it's impossible to win. Because someone's going to get
not doing all the things that you got to do. You're not doing all the collection scores
you compare it to a hobby. With golf, if you go out and play golf every day, you're going to get better. Whereas I can keep playing Sorare, but unless I keep putting more money in so I can play in season, I'm never going to get better. Like, I'm never going to win enough rewards so I can progress. Whereas back in the day, if you did well, you could actually progress in the game without having to invest every 2 months.
I know, but I think that time is done. And what my point is exactly...
It's dead, yeah.
My point is exactly you just said, like, oh, I can't get any better. I'm saying... You literally can now by just spending a little bit more money and just being like, I'll put $20 in to buy, hear me out. Like you said, oh, you've got the 5 best players in the world or whatever, which you do. Like, I mean, you've also cursed with the worst luck of any Sorare manager I've ever met. Like Alisson, Trent, Rodri, De Bruyne, and Calvert Lewin. Maybe there's your problem. This is exactly my point, Simon. No. Go out and buy a fucking better striker than Dominic Calvert Lewin, and you might improve.
I had Darwin Núñez, I had Ivan Toney.
There you go, me fine.
Okay, I hear it now.
Yeah, you hear it now. How could I possibly win?
My retaliation was, I have Darwin Núñez is never a good way to start your sentence.
No, I have Darwin Núñez, actually, so... Like, I think you've just encapsulated it perfectly. And you said, like, you said, like, golf, you go out and you practice to get better. There's things you can do with Sorare to, like, get better in more surreptitious ways, like collection scores and, using your level ups and all that kind of stuff. You can really try and win that way. Or you can just go out and buy a better striker and you might have better luck. And I guess it's that thing of, like, what are you playing for? If you're not playing for money anymore, then maybe you can just focus on, like, putting your team out there, trying to get some essence so that you can, craft a tier 5 loser and potentially every now and then having that big win and following your boys. Like, that's kind of where I'm at with my experience with the game.
Look, Sorare, it's not you, it's me. Like, I just don't find collection bonuses interesting. I don't find setting training lineups so I can get extra percentages.
You're not listening to me. Don't do it then.
I
don't
never
do
do.
it. Don't play that way. That's how losers play. I'm saying,
Yeah,
if your Dominic Calvert Lewin isn't doing it, go and buy a Haaland. If Haaland's not doing it, go and buy a fucking, I don't know. Who's another good striker? Richarlison. That's what I'm saying.
But again,
I'm saying maybe your path to engaging with the platform more is treating it maybe a little bit more like I'm treating it, which is like, I'm just going to go out and buy the cards I need to make it enjoyable for me. Does that make sense?
It does. But Alistair, I've got another love now anyway. And like, this is the problem, is I'm just playing Fantasy Premier League now with my mates.
Ooh,
I'm one of those guys.
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. Because like, your Twitter feed's full of small African boys ripping off Fabrizio Romano. Mine, well, it's a nice change, actually, I must say, because my Twitter feed for many months was just like people being fucking decapitated. So, but it's recently just been all FPL. I don't know why. I guess it's just seen that I interact with Sorare stuff, so they're like, you might like FPL, and Elon really wants me to play FPL. People talking about setting their lineups, Kwanzaa's gone from 4.5 to 4 mil. What are we going to do? If you don't have Haaland, you may as well kill yourself. Like, it's that's the kind of content I'm getting constantly on Twitter at the moment. And it kind of got me thinking about, like, that doesn't appeal to me at all. Everyone's kind of out there complaining about week 1 is finished and their team is dead for the season because they captained the wrong guy or whatever. I'm so glad that we play Sorare.
Well, I mean, my Sorare form, obviously, I've done your head in for weeks, for months, for years about how bad of a Sorare manager I am. I can confirm that has translated across to Fantasy Premier League. Week 1, team's in, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. I captained Saka, he scored a goal, got an assist, 12 points, highest scorer of the whole game week. How good, can't wait, check my score, check my team. I've captained the wrong guy. I've accidentally put on Ollie Watkins, who wasn't like barely playing. He got 1 point. My season's done. So
yeah, doesn't that suck?
But it's not done. I'm still playing against mates. It's a long season. I can come back. It's easy.
Yeah.
Scoring simple. They score a goal, you get points. This is another thing, Alistair. If we want to talk about trying to convert people across, like, Fantasy Premier League is huge. Like, I don't know how many thousands of people play it, but it's massive. If you compare that to Sorare, let's do a little back and forth, I guess, of like, why would people play Sorare rather than Fantasy Premier League? In Fantasy Premier League's support, it's free to play. It's simple. Like, if they score a goal, they get points. If they get a clean sheet, they get points. It's just very basic. And it's sort of an easy system to wrap your head around. Whereas I would say if I'm trying to introduce my friends to Sorare, which is the issue, like, I've got some very rich rugby league professional athletes who would be the prime target market for Sorare to go after to splash all of their, money on the platform. But they're playing Fantasy Premier League because it's easy. Otherwise, it's so hard to explain. What's a dual one? I still don't even understand what the little tick-a-tacker, or what's a one contest. It's hard to get your head around.
That's a good point. Sorare really aren't doing enough to reach Australian-based professional rugby league players. God, Nicholas, pull your finger out. I guess the glaring benefit to Sorare is that, you don't have to worry about, I had a shit week, now I'm done. You just go on to next week. Like, how many times does that happen where we're like, fuck, error led to goal, that's me done. All right, well, let me just set my lineups for next week. Like, I get excited by that prospect of just wiping the slate clean, starting again, buying a new player, off we go. But you're right. If you took a long-time FBL player and you said, right, here's Sorare, get yourself a Premier League team and you can play the Premier League comp, and look, it's got all these benefits. Okay, well, I'll need Haaland. Oh, okay. Well, Haaland is he scores a lot of goals, so he's a couple of $100. Oh, okay. Well, I have $50, so what can I do? Oh, well, you can get like Dominic Calvert Lewin. You can probably pick up a couple of Ben Mees if you want. Or goalkeeper's going to be tough. Or what if you get like a steal and just hope that he plays the midweeks when Verbruggen's injured? Like that. I can see how that side of things would put people off. I guess that's where Rivals comes in, though, isn't it? Like. And this is where it's important that Sorare bring in a Rivals league. Like, it's cool having the divisions. Like, I jump in and out of playing Rivals. I might go for like a week where I'm like trying to get up the divisions, trying to see what I can win, sweating the results. It is fun, but then I just kind of lose interest for a bit, and I might just come back in and out, depending on what games are on. But if to your point of like you're playing with mates, you're playing with the Melbourne Storm rugby league team, if they had a Sorare Rivals league that you could play with the boys, like we did for the Euros. So we had a Euros comp amongst the friends with Sorare Rivals. I put up some extra prizes as well as Sorare putting in those like daily prizes, which I thought was a really great touch from them. If we had that for the Premier League, which I think everyone's kind of thinking they should be doing, I don't know why they're not. Surely that's more fun than FPL. Don't you think?
100%.
Like being able you can pick the players you want. It's head to head. You can get ahead in the game and you can beat your fellow teammates by buying limited cards. So those people who really want to take it seriously can go and buy pro cards, and that then fuels that addiction that you end up buying super rares, with your spare change. Yeah.
That's why I can't believe that they haven't brought on this Rivals Leagues thing, because I feel like that is an area that they've never mastered, is the onboarding process and being able to get people to become accustomed to Sorare. Because like you said, it's like throwing a house cat into the jungle and just being like, all right, adapt and overcome. Like there's too much going on that you're not used to. Whereas, like you touched on, I thought the Euro Leagues, that's probably the most fun I've had in Sorare in a long, long time. And yes, we put in some extra prizes and stuff, but that's where I see Sorare is like we're at the pub. I mean, professional rugby league athletes, they're basically all a bunch of Ivan Tonys. Like they're all gambling addicts. They're all super competitive. So that's the perfect place. Like we're at the airport waiting for a flight. Be like, oh, Premier League games on tonight. Let's put, winner, loser has to shout coffees or something like that. And you can play, you can pick your team. You don't have to play a season long. Because like this problem with the Fantasy Premier League as well is no doubt there are other people that lose interest after 4 weeks because your team's, you're probably not going to win and they just throw it all away. Whereas if you can just do this pick up and play, that's the beauty of Sorare. I can't understand why that hasn't come about yet.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue with FPL is that once you start falling behind, you've got no incentive to play. And that happened in the Euros thing as well, where like a couple of guys in our group didn't really quite grasp the concept or they just weren't interested enough. They fell behind. And then it was like, well, what's the incentive of me putting my lineup in for, Croatia versus Spain because I'm going to lose anyway. But they fixed that problem with the like daily rewards. And you could do that with Premier League where every game week, it's like whoever, scores the most points, wins a box or a card or whatever, in your particular league. The boxes they can give away, they can give away essence, they can give away lots of stuff that doesn't really cost the company too much. And it creates that thing of like, oh, I've been away for 3 weeks. Sorry, boys, I haven't really been paying attention. I'm done for the overall leaderboard. But I can jump back in this week and submit each one of my lineups for the Premier League game week and have a crack at trying to win, the prize on offer for the week. So that is, I think Sorare has a real upper hand on FPL, but I don't know whether they're going to utilize it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it probably just comes back to, for me, I feel like there's been so many chopping and changes, especially with the onboarding process. Like we had, the progress bar was sort of hinted at, and then we had, you could play like one rare in a limited lineup, and then Rivals was meant to be the savior. That was like a fun toy for a little while. I just feel like, I don't know. Personally, I feel like I don't know if Sorare knows the direction that they're going. It seems all very reactive. Like they come up with a plan, they get some bad feedback, then they change it. That doesn't work. So I don't know. A lot has changed. Seems very unstable.
Yeah, shitloads changed. I think it's. I think it was Scosmo that was talking about how like Sorare went wrong by trying to become a mainstream, million user platform, because what that did by introducing limiteds, by introducing all these other leagues, they killed the value of it, and they changed it from like a high end kind of high stakes NFT platform where the only people that were playing were like, degenerates, people with a bit of money behind them. Yes, it cost $100 to get
Which
a tier
one were
5. Hey,
which one were we?
We were just
because I didn't have money behind me.
Degenerates, I guess.
Yeah.
And and that was obviously not good for people who wanted to just pick it up and play. You couldn't, I brought you in and basically ruined your life. And that was a good example of Sorare was inaccessible to the everyday person. And they've tried to shift that, and they've brought in all these things to make it accessible to the everyday person from a financial standpoint. But it is pretty fucking complicated, and it's not as easy as FPL to pick up and play. You've got Essence, you've got the scoring matrix, all that stuff. It does make it tricky. You can't just say, hey, play this, you'll have a good time. You have to invest, like my friend, my Palmeiras mate, who I got on board, he likes it now, but we had to have like multiple meetings where we're like, let's get a beer and I'll sit down and try and explain how this all works. That's not good.
Yeah, no. And like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Like, we've said that multiple times. After I bought all those random J League guys back in 2021, I would have been like, what the hell is it? All right, I'm out. So, I don't know. It's tricky. Fun times.
Oh, well. I mean, I still... I'm getting enjoyment out of the platform at the moment. I might be in the minority. I think the essence and stuff like that, I think... Oh, by the way, I cashed my first essence. My first rare essence. Yeah, got an absolute dweeb. Yeah, nothing. Tier 5.
Yeah, nice. Perfect. Yeah, fantastic.
But I liked the process. I liked that I could cash in some essence. I like that mechanic of it, I think, has some real legs. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, we're yet to see whether it's going to take off to the masses.
Well, I think we've almost hit the hour mark, Elster. Have we made sure we've clicked record? We haven't had any technical issues. This one actually will count?
No technical issues. I can hear a baby crying. So I might have to go and hashtag dad life and soothe her with
Smother
my
that
song.
baby.
Yeah, okay. Our microphones are there. Cameras are in the right spot. I think we might be okay here. I think we might be good.
We've done it.
Man. All right. Well, look, I'm going to enjoy the weekend. I'm going to have a good time with Sorare now that I'm just free and enlightened and enjoying Sorare for what it is. You'll obviously just carry on drudging along, just doing this against your will to keep me happy. But hey, good luck with your FPL team.